Morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. I remember the first time I watched The Lion King, which I guess had to be a good 20 years ago, right? That movie's been out forever. And I always think about the moment when the hyenas are talking about King Mufasa, the great and powerful king. And they're talking about how just even the sound of his name evokes fear. You remember the scene, right? Like they say, Mufasa. And the hyenas went, ooh, say it again, Mufasa. And the whole idea was this: you better respect Mufasa. You don't mess with Mufasa. Mufasa is the king. And the roundabout point I want to make is we ought to preserve a good, healthy element of fear and reverence before our great King, God himself. Now, I'm not trying to put any kind of thing on us. I'm just saying that sometimes something that's missing in our livelihood, in our walk with Jesus, is what I like to call a healthy dosage of fear and reverence before the Lord. Let me tell you something. When Jesus comes back to earth, the Bible says he'll be riding on a white horse. He'll have a tattoo on his thigh and a sword in his mouth. Literally going to burn up the earth before he establishes a new kingdom. And the Bible says when we see him, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. My point is this: when you see him for who he is, you will have a healthy dosage of fear and reverence. When you get into his presence, it's not gonna just be, oh Lord, let me hug you, let me kiss you. It'll be all of that. But more than anything, it'll be, let me bow. Because this is the great God. Now, don't hear me saying that God is not your dad and God is not your friend and the lover of your soul and that he's not an intimate Abba Father. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying part of his person is the fact that he's kind of like Mufasa, and there just should be a little bit of, ooh, in your spirit. Anybody smelling what I'm stepping in? He is a great and mighty God. The Ark of the Covenant is being brought in to be secured, and there was a principle: don't touch the ark because it was holy before God. And in 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 6, there's a man named Uzzah who put out his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen had stumbled, and the anger of the Lord, verse 7, was kindled against Uzzah, and God struck him down there because of his error, and he died there beside the ark of God. And David was angry because the Lord had broken out against Uzzah, and that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of the Lord that day. And the whole idea here was that God ain't playing. And it may seem like God was hampering a bit, or God was just kind of being a little bit emphatic about this law, but God's whole point was that don't mess with the law of God. Don't mess with the holiness of God. Don't mess with the reverence of God. That was the principle that God was trying to instill in his people. And the result of it was that David was left with a reminder that, oh yeah, that's right, this is God. Don't get too casual with God. Don't play with God. Don't get too familiar with God. The whole idea is that sometimes in our relationship, we dumb God down to co-pilot instead of reverencing him as the pilot. And this is just one of those reminders in the Bible. I don't even know how this is devotional, by the way. I'm hoping it's going to bless you. But the one of the things we have to remind ourselves is that God is not my consultant. He's my king. And my job is to reverence him and keep a healthy dosage of fear and reverence in my life. And here's the cool thing. On the other side of this, there was so much blessing for whoever reverenced the ark. In fact, read the next few passages. The whole idea is that when you fear him, he will bless you. I'm out of time. That's Hope for Today. I'll see you next time.